Okay, today we're going to learn how to recolor our artwork in Photoshop. So we're going to go to File and open our scanned imagery that's been scanned at 300 dpi. And we're just going to wait for that to load. Excellent. Okay, we're going to double click to unlock the background. And now what we've got to do is make sure that all we can see in our artwork is black and white. So there's lots of different shades of grey there, depending on what we have drawn our artwork with. So we're going to make some adjustments at image. First thing is mode needs to be in RGB, which it is. And we're going to work between brightness, contrast, levels, and exposure. So if we adjust some of these settings, you can see what's happening to my image. I'm either getting less black or more white, or vice versa. So I'm going to do some edits there. Maybe go into levels. Adjusting the levels seems to have worked really well, and I'm just going to have a look at exposure as well. Oops. Okay. Once we're happy with our black and white imagery, as much as we can, we're going to use the lasso tool, and I'm going to just draw around the images that I'm selecting to recolor. I'm going to draw around one, right click, and I'm going to go new layer via cut. So you can see that it's been moved onto a new layer by itself. I'm going to double click that and rename this. And I'm going to repeat that process for each of the images that I want to edit. And our final one. Okay, so the original layer at the bottom, we can turn that off, and now I've got my three different images. So whichever one I want to work on and edit, I need to make sure that that's selected in my layers panel. Now we're going to work on the detailed leaf, and we're going to recolor that. So first thing to do is to use our magic wand tool. What I'd like you to do is to, before that, we're going to have a look at our swatches and going to nominate a color. So I'm going to color this leaf green. If you're not happy with the selection of swatches here, you can click onto this little icon, and there should be a whole lot of different swatch libraries. I like using Pantone Solid Uncoated. It gives me a really nice variety of gradient tones there. So I've already selected one just by doing this. It should come up to your swatches palette, and whatever color is selected should be in your fill square down here. So now that I've got my color, I'm going to click my magic wand, and I'm going to click onto the area of black. This is what I'm going to recolor. I've only been able to select some of the black of this leaf, so I'm going to right click and select similar. So that should now select all pixels related to that one I've selected with my magic wand. Then I'm going to my layers panel and clicking on the create new fill or adjustment layer. I'm going to click solid color. My color's been selected. I can make adjustments here if I want to and click OK. So that's now recolored my leaf, and I can see that in this layers panel here. If I'm happy with that, I can merge my layers. If not, I can double click the fill color and I can make an adjustment, and it's going to apply that setting. Okay, I'm going to hold shift, and now I need to merge these layers. So I'm going to go right click, merge layers. I think I'd like to recolor the inside of the leaf as well. So first step is to, with my magic wand, click the background surrounding that, because I don't really want to recolor that, and click delete. Control D, deselects. Now I would like to color the inside. I can do that two ways. I can use my paint bucket in my tools panel and select a color and go through manually and recolor parts of my leaf. Or the quicker way, if I want to do it all one color, is select my magic wand, click my white, right click, select similar. So I've got all of my white selected. Go to my fill layer, solid color, and I can select my green here and click OK. So once I'm happy with how I've recolored my motif, I'm going to go to File, New, create a new artboard that is 15 by 15 or maybe 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Ensure it is 300 pixels per inch and we are working in RGB. Click create. So I'm going to grab my leaf. Oh, my mistake, we haven't merged these two layers. So I need to go back onto my layers panel, hold shift and click my original layer with my color panel selected as well, and then right click, merge. Okay, now I'm ready to move it. Click and drag into my new artboard, double click this background and we can turn it off. Alright, so there's my leaf. I'm going to go File, Save As. I want to save it as a TIFF and I'm going to call it detailed leaf underscore edited, so you know. A TIFF, save, and you need to save transparency as well and click OK. So that one is now ready to be placed into InDesign or even Illustrator for further editing. Now, one other option I'd like to show you as well is how to apply a gradient. So we're using the same process. I'm going to apply gradient to this little gumnut image. So click onto the gumnut layer. We're going to select what two colors we'd like our gradient to go between. So I'm going to select a dark green, and I've actually already got a fill color of brown at the back. You can change that in by double clicking. You've got your picker, or you can go color libraries and you can select a color here. Okay, magic wand tool, the same steps. I want to select what I want to color, which is the black, and then I'm going to go right click, similar. We're going to go to our fill option, and instead of solid color, I'm going to click gradient now. And in this icon here, it's going to bring up the two colors that I had in my fill and stroke panel in the corner. So I've got my brown and green. I can change the options of my gradient. I think I'm going to do linear still and have the top of the gumnuts kind of brown. That works. Okay. If we're happy with that and we want to do some more editing, we need to click the gradient fill layer and the original, right click, merge. Magic wand, we want to delete that white background. And then we can also now move this one. So we're going to click and move him onto our edited folder. We would turn off the top layer, and here's our gumnut. Making sure I can't see my original leaf, and then I can go File, Save As, TIFF. Obviously this one is detailed gumnut. Save. Okay, and the final option, yep, save transparency. The final option in Photoshop is using the paint fill bucket. This is really good if you want to create something with one solid color that isn't really detailed line work. So click the area that you'd want to work on, which is this leaf design. I'm going to use my magic wand tool and delete any background. And pretty simply, I'm going to select my color with my color picker. What's selected is down here in the fill box. I'm going to get my paint bucket and just fill that in. Very simple step. No merging of layers required. I'm going to click and drag that one into my Photoshop file. Turn off my gum nut. This one's called Ginkgo. File, same process. Saving as a TIFF. So that's a few different ways of how to recolor your line drawings in Photoshop.